Welcome back. A combined team of SSU Drug Squad and CID officers conducted a search operation in Industrie Choiseul at about 4:30 a.m. 2 search warrants were executed. At one of these locations, the following was recovered: 3 9mm pistols, 1 black 6mm pistol, 117 9mm rounds of ammunition, and 5 magazines, which included a 35-round capacity magazine. A sum of euro currency was also recovered. The following people were arrested and charged for unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition: Carl Joseph of Dakite Choiseul, Kamalo Geist, aka Kimo of Larishus Viewfort, Darrell Flood, aka Dawo of Daemon Viewfort, Ashton Albert of Cantonment Viewfort, Latonia Joseph of New Dock Road Lane Viewfort. In other news, from the 30th of July to the 3rd of August, the St. Lucia Fire Service responded to 123 calls, inclusive of both the north and the south of the island. The calls included motor vehicular incidents, fire calls, and reports of physical assault. According to Fire Service spokesperson Stacey Joseph, there was also a shooting.
Emergency personnel at the Viewfort Fire Station received a call on Saturday, 31st July at approximately 8 p.m. informing of a possible shooting incident on Clark Street in Viewfort. The responding officers found one male in his 30s lying on his back on the sidewalk. An assessment revealed that the patient sustained a penetrating wound on his body. His wound was bandaged and he was immediately provided rapid emergency transportation to the St. Jude Hospital for medical treatment. The patient's condition remains stable en route.
A motor vehicular incident was responded to in Ancillary.
Officers at the Fire Service headquarters and the Babono Fire Stations responded to a distress call at Maskway in Ancillary on Monday, 2nd August at approximately 7:30 p.m. Information received stated that a vehicle with 7 individuals ran off the road and down a precipice. The responding officers found 5 of the occupants, including the driver, standing on the side of the road. 2 of the passengers of the vehicle were rescued using ropes and the basket stretcher. The patients who sustained various injuries were immediately provided rapid transportation to the OKEU hospital for emergency medical treatment.
That was Fire Service spokesperson Stacey Joseph. A case that has seen several adjournments in the last year was due to be heard before the courts on the 3rd of August. The case involves the constitutional claim against the government of St. Lucia in regard to the rights of citizens to use cannabis. According to the leader of the National Green Party, Andre De Caries, the former administration was prepared to challenge the claim, which to him questioned the administration's sincerity to consider legalizing the plant. He is appealing to the new administration to end the defense of the claim and deliver on its campaign promise to legalize cannabis.
The case, which is scheduled to run from August 3rd to 6th, 2021 in the High Court, will determine whether or not the law as it relates to cannabis is legal. But leader of the National Green Party, Andre De Caries, wants the new administration to drop its defense claims altogether. De Caries says that there is no need for government to go ahead with its defense if it promised to legalize cannabis in the first place.
There is a clear pathway to legalization outlined in several reports and documents, and the legislation has been sitting on the AG's desk since December 2020. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. Time is of the essence. Our recommendations remain the same. That is, to take in a phased-in approach. Phase 1 is the decriminalization, and this is to be done as soon as possible, a move made by at least 8 other CARICOM territories. And this would include the removal of cannabis from Schedule 2, Section A, in the Misuse of Drugs Act.
According to De Caries, Phase 1 would also see a moratorium on incarceration, eradication, and to release all prisoners who are incarcerated solely for cannabis crimes.
Phase 2 will include the scrutiny of the present legislation by the new Attorney General, followed by stakeholder consultations, and then the application of any necessary amendments, and finally, the presentation of the bill to Parliament. There is still time left for St. Lucia to lead the rest of CARICOM in this multi-billion-dollar industry, as our model is the most fair and progressive model in the entire CARICOM. We hope that this administration does right by its people.
His recommendations also include the registration of a cannabis cooperative, THC. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
The St. Lucia Labour Party secured 13 seats during this year's general election. With such a massive victory, the question has now arisen as to who out of the 13 MPs will form the cabinet. Political commentator Richard Pittikin weighs in.
With anticipation comes speculation. That saying could not be truer as cabinet ministers are slated to be sworn in on August 5th, and many have been debating as to who will be awarded what ministry. A landslide victory with the St. Lucia Labour Party capturing 13 seats comes with its fair share of challenges, and the selection of cabinet is one of them. The cadre of candidates has caused the public to speculate as to who will be left without. Political commentator Richard Pittikin speaks to the formation of cabinet and is of the belief that cabinet will not be as jam-packed as the previous administration.
When you win 13 seats, it is now difficult in a sense as to how you allocate these positions. My belief is that they will not stay with this cluster of cabinet positions and departments as the previous government did, that they will probably go back to what used to pertain before. And then the only question mark as whether you want to have the number of ministers you want to have, whether you have ministers of state instead of full ministers, etc. I don't know. I think, and I hope that the government will look at the cost of all of this when they make these decisions.
Pittikin says that the St. Lucia Labour Party has a good predicament in the sense that the party comprises of sufficiently talented people who can form the cabinet. He further says that this is beneficial for the formation of a formidable cabinet.
They have an abundance of riches in the sense of they've got 13 people. They even have 2 independents that might support them in what they're doing. So to that extent, they will have no problem finding people to fill positions, and it will not have to be done on the strength of having to keep everybody happy or not having enough people, right? So from that point of view, and I think the skill sets, when you look at the individuals involved, you have a lot of people that are capable of running all of those ministries. And the civil servants, as I said, are still there. And they are the ones that keep things ticking over. So from that point of view, I think that we'll probably end up with a strong cabinet.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre is leading the pack as he has assumed the portfolios of finance, economic development, and the youth economy. For the Hot 7 Nightly News, I am Karim Nelson.
Help has arrived to quell an intensifying period of unrest in the neighboring Isle of Martinique in the form of 30 soldiers from the French Army Health Service and Medical Regiment. Whilst the island grapples through a 4th wave of COVID-19, the University Hospital Center in Martinique has been placed under immense pressure. The issue is being exacerbated by ongoing demonstrations which have turned violent over the past few days. The unrest stems from nationals organized by trade unions and other local groups rallying against the imposition of a health pass and compulsory vaccinations for certain professions, including healthcare workers. The soldiers, who brought with them medical equipment and beds for use at the public hospital, arrived on Monday, the 2nd of August, aboard a military plane that landed at the international airport. A second consignment of soldiers is due in Martinique on Saturday, bringing the full complement in the French Caribbean territory to 50. Martinique has recorded 29 COVID deaths in 4 days and a total of 3,395 new cases of the deadly virus between the 28th of July and the 2nd of August. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news after the break.